Good morning, boys and girls from Kids to College. Today is Thursday, April 16th, and this activity is for next week, but I wanted to go ahead and get the video up in case you wanted to do it this weekend. So we will be making non-sticky silly putty out of two very simple ingredients. The first being dish soap, any brand will work, and the second being cornstarch. Now, the key to this is that the more you play with the silly putty, the more it's going to keep its shape. As if you put it down into your container or into a bag, you're going to notice it's going to get liquidy and more like molasses, which is very sticky, okay? Also, if you find that your silly putty is too dry, then you'll want to add more dish soap. And if you find that it's too runny, you'll want to add more cornstarch. But for now, we're starting with 1.5 tablespoons of dish soap, and we're going to use 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I will tilt my computer down so you can see what I'm doing. So I have my dish soap. And I'm going to start by seeing, and like I had told you, if you don't have a measuring cup at home, a big spoon that you would use to eat soup or anything like that will suffice as a tablespoon. So I'm going to go ahead with my first scoop of cornstarch and fill it up nice and high. I'm going to drop that in, and then I'm going to add one more. And now you can use your hands for this if you'd like, but I'm going to use the spoon and start mixing and see what happens to see if we need to add more or less of anything. And that's the great thing is you can do this over and over. So as I'm stirring, I am starting to see my creation thicken up. Okay, so I'm going to keep stirring. And it's kind of like that molasses texture right now. And it's a little more runny than I would like it to be. So I'm going to grab another spoon because that one is wet. Grab another big spoon, and I'm going to add a little more cornstarch to it to try to thicken it up a little bit to make it more like silly putty. So I just added one more tablespoon, and I'm going to stir that in. And like I said, you can use your hands for this. Feel free. But I have to go on a meeting after this, so I'm going to keep my hands nice and clean. So as I continue stirring, it's starting to thicken, and I can feel that. I'm going to add one more tablespoon. And as we've discussed, this is why we do experiments, because sometimes it doesn't always work, right? So I just added a little more because I want mine to be thicker. Okay, and I'm going to keep stirring. I may have had a little too much soap in mine. Now, as you see, now we're starting to get that putty consistency. Okay, I'm going to add a little more cornstarch. Drop that in. And that's what I mean is that you can keep adding until it's the consistency that you would like it to be. So now as I'm stirring this in, oh my, I see it. So the key is that maybe I had overmeasured and had a little too much dish soap in there. So we may want to try this again with less dish soap. So as you see right now, it is in a very thick silly putty. Yes, there we go, form. So as I touch it, I can start to mold it, right? But the more that I play with it, the thicker that it is getting. And it feels very much like slime. And if you wanted it to be even thicker, then you could add even more cornstarch. So I'm going to wash my hands. I have another container, and I'm going to try this using a little less soap. So I'll be right back. Okay. All right. So let's give this another go as I let that sit. So I have another container. And this time I'm just going to measure out just a very little amount of soap. Just going to fill the bottom. And now I'm going to try adding my cornstarch. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. Okay. And I might add a little more. There we go. I'm going to take the same spoon from my other putty. And I'm going to start mixing and see what happens. And this is very, very messy. I am getting cornstarch all over right now. Oh, so that's the key, is to make sure we don't have too much dish soap, because the dish soap makes it a little too runny and we don't get that putty effect that we want. So as you see now, it's coming together, and I'm going to add a little more. And you can play around with this to make it as thick or as runny as you would like. There we go. Okay, so this is the result that we wanted. So we had to do it twice, at least I did. But as you can see, I put this aside, I can now pick this up and play with it like slime. And the more that I play with it, the more I can feel it binding together and becoming that great slimy material that we love to play with. However, you see in the bottom of this that the silly putty that has not been touched is getting more runny. So it's very important that when you're done with this, that you clean up and you wash your hands so that way it doesn't get everywhere. Okay, so the next video that's going to come up is we're going to put our bread inside of our sandwich bags. And this is very simple. You have 3 slices of bread. You're going to put 1 in each bag. And I would like for you to put 1 bag in a sunny place in your house that always gets sun. 1 bag in a really dark place, so maybe a basement or anywhere that doesn't get a lot of sunlight. And then I want you to leave 1 just kind of in a bag anywhere in your house. Okay, and we want to see which one is going to grow mold faster. So I will get mine set up, and in a couple of days, I will give you an update, and I hope that you'll share your update with me too. So have fun with your silly putty. Enjoy the rest of your day. We have some snow on the ground today, so maybe you can get outside and play with that before that's all gone. And we hope to see you soon. We miss you very much from Kids to College.